All right. Good evening and welcome. Poetry Love Buzz. I'm your host, ZM Wise. Welcome to the fourth Tuesday reading series here at Barnes & Noble. Tonight's featured reader is Fatima Beydoun. She is fairly new to creative writing. A mentor who she holds dearly to her heart actually pushed her to write about all the tough topics when she took a class last year. She will be reading some of the more polished pieces produced in that class. It's quite fun to experiment with certain imagery and dynamics. Poetry pushes her to get past her self-criticism and the need for perfection because it doesn't hold one form. She considers poetry to be writing in which a person can naturally explore different ideas. She's recently began dabbling in drawing as well, and she hopes to someday begin accompanying her writing with illustrations. Her hopes and goals for writing is that, in the least, it piques your curiosity, and at the most, it makes you reflect on the hidden corners of your life with a new eye. It honors her to have an opportunity such as this one, where possibility for exposure is met. Please welcome, in the flesh, yours for the taking, Fatima. Come on up.
So this first piece is a short one. I had a journal in which I just write whatever's on my mind, and it was a cute little piece, so. Can something be so perfect to the point that you want to ruin it? A rose so symmetrically aligned that you just want to rip all its petals out? A room so crisp and clean that you just want to spill a red bucket of paint all over it? A vase so pretty that you just want to smash it to bits? This can be ruled off as a craving for change or wanting expression. What about a face so twisted you wish it were blank? If one were trapped in a mime's box, isn't hearing your own screams what you'd ache to hear the most? So why is it so important for us to be heard by others before dissecting our words ourselves? Then our words are given back to us with an uglier meaning and we feel like fools. Seeking a mess in a clean room, but demanding order in a cluttered This next one is a more darker piece. I was battling some hard to deal with feelings, and I never want to deal with them on paper, but as I said, my mentor pushed me to do that, and I hope you guys enjoy it. It's called Clarity Songbird. I twist the doorknob and reside on the carpeted floor, not flicking on the light switch. The darkness suits this box-like room, for in darkness comes more vulnerability. My tears immediately turn into sobs as the anger of loss looms over me. The clarity I held upon a time is fleeting. Although a rare sight to see, it will sometimes flap its wings back to me and sing its glorious song. The clarity was my sanctuary, and with it I could take steps of certainty down life's pathway. Without it, however, begins a dangerous journey, and I spend it in this room. The hatred-filled shell of a self expands, rooting its hostility due to not understanding how I could ever let such a vital thing like clarity slip away. I sit with my knees bent, my arms wrapping around my shoulders as if I were to embrace myself. Along with the fury comes the need to hurt. The loathful essence reaches down and grabs a hold of my lungs, wrapping its rotting claws around them, daring me to breathe. The moment they expand from an inhale of faith, it breeds viruses of doubt, worthlessness into them. The pit in my chest deepens. I look up and I cry out, "Why did you leave? Come back to me." My gaze lowers and I whisper to myself, "You made him leave." Then louder, angrier, "You made him leave." I unravel my arms and grip my hair between my fingers as I keep yelling this line over and over, feeling damned, rocking back and forth. Some cruel part of me was convinced that I'm so vile, so unbearable, that God himself left me. Then slowly, I feel the room getting stuffy with fumes that blur the lines of what is. I look up again. If you won't come back to me, then let me come back to you. The good thing about having hell in a room is that I can walk out. I begin to pick myself up, slip back into the disguise of normalcy, and simply leave. I breathe in the gush of cool air that swarms outside the door, as though I'm quenching an aging thirst. Someday I will switch the light on and find that Clarity's bird flew back to me, chirping songs of hope. This last piece, I was really wanting to experiment with imagery and kind of like twisted imagery, more specifically. It's called The Temple Beneath My Feet. Powder residue hangs off the corpse's Cupid's bow, leaving a trail to her blued lips. The frames of her soul's foggy windows are enveloped with dewy slivers of mascara. The wetness of it indicates that she'd felt her final rush quite recently. Her eyes appear to be much like the slippers Cinderella wore to the ball, glassy, clearer than ever. An oceanic pigment swaddles her iris, cups it, fusing death and comfort in her serene pale face. Her previously vibrant hair faded to the shade of aged red rum. Whoever said gingers had no soul probably didn't meet this teenage dream laying in front of me. She's soulless, yes, but her essence must have been powerful, because even after death, sparks of it still linger. Her alluring aura exudes vibrant warmth, inspiring me to breathe life into her. I feel my ears burn as this rare sight of beauty beckons me, like soft, tender hands motioning for me to come closer and melt in the soft locks of her hair. Yet it dawns on me that if I dare buy into this ruse, I'd choke on the stringy strands instead, quickly drowning in the cold liquor before I get the chance to be drunk. I force myself to turn away, step out of the room, and leave her to rot.
Thank you very, very much, Fatima. So now we will begin the open mic portion, and what we will do in this case is we will go around twice, and you could read 2 to 3 pieces each time, or just one if you prefer. There are 2 optional themes to this particular open mic. The first theme was thought of by none other than Kayla here, and that theme is intimacy in any way you see it. And the other theme is pride, because this is Pride Month. So, that being said, first one on the list. Kayla, come on up.